Yo, bro, what's your favorite anime? I love Dragon Ball. Well, I love One Piece, dude. How about you? My favorite's actually My Dress Up Darling. Yeah, bro, you're a weirdo. Who actually watches romance anime? What? Listen, I love shonen just as much as everyone else, but sometimes it could be a bit too much. I mean, some of my favorite shows are romance anime. I mean, look at Toradora. That's probably the best example of a romance anime that's probably in the top 10 greatest of all time. It's got fighting, romance, drama, all that good stuff you could want in an anime. But I think the best part about romance anime is probably the slice of life aspect to it, because in every one of these romance anime, it's kind of trying to simulate real life. It's a real life scenario. It's a boy and a girl in a love story. I mean, most of these love stories obviously aren't, you know, the best depictions of what would happen in real life. A lot of crazy things happen, and that's mostly just because the Japanese kind of stuff doesn't really translate over that well, with the embarrassment and some of the jokes and stuff. But either way, these stories are amazing, and I really want to talk about that in this video. And for the topic, though, for the big four that I want to get into, so I was on Twitter, and I still call it Twitter, yeah. But there's this profile by the name of CEO of MILFs, and I don't know their gender or anything, but I just want to shout out to them because their art is amazing. Their art is kind of, I mean, sus, but they do a really good job at what they do. One of their best examples is they have a webtoon called Dragon Tamers, which I read all of it. It's short, but it's pretty good, and the art is really nice. But anyway, they made this art with Komi, Marin, Uzuki, and Nagatoro. And when I was looking at this art and the different, scenarios that they had these characters in, it just seemed so right to me. It made so much sense because most of these characters are around the same age. I mean, besides Uzuki because they're in college, but they're all high school kind of love stories, and they're all similar kind of. They all have a same kind of plot line, with a few different changes and stuff. But that's what I want to go over today, and I would consider these the big four of romance anime. They're all extremely popular. They all have quite a few decent assets to them. But yeah, let's get straight into it because yeah, these characters I'm just gonna go over real quick. I mean, if you're watching this video, you know who these characters are. But My Dress Up Darling is basically about our boy Wakana Gojo, who is he makes these dolls, these Hina dolls, and there's also this girl Marin Kitagawa. She wants to be a cosplayer, and our boy Gojo helps her out with that. He's amazing at what he does. He makes great dresses and stuff, but he also needs to learn that he can, he got made fun of for the dolls when he was a kid. So he just thinks what he does is kind of girly or just not manly or whatever. So, Marin, being the baddie that she is, tries to show him that, you know, he's our boy. But anyway, then we have Comey, and another great example, like all the uniqueness to these shows. Comey has it's not really like a crazy medical condition, but she's just extremely shy and she can't really talk, but she really wants to make friends, and she's also insanely popular. So things get really crazy in that show. We got our boy Tadano, though. He's the main character, and he kind of helps her out. He's the translator, basically. And, since he's the first friend and he's trying to help her make 100 friends, that's the goal, the plot of the story. I think things will go well for them. But Next we have Uzuki, and this one's a little like probably the most not mid, but like the plot's really not that crazy. Um, Uzuki just sees our boy Sakurai just being a lazy bum, and she wants to just annoy him and try to make his life more fun. That's basically it. There's a lot to it though, and it's really interesting, honestly. And then the last one, probably the most, you know, closest one to hentai, honestly, if I'm gonna be honest, Nagatoro, and it's basically our boy Naoto. He's an art student, and he just, you know, he's part of the art club, and he just draws all day. And then our girl Nagatoro is kind of crazy, but she really loves our boy. Just pesters him and actually makes him cry. I almost stopped watching the first episode because she made him cry and embarrassed him so bad. It was a hard watch, honestly, but it's really good, honestly. I mean, as you watch it and learn about the characters, it's really good. But enough talking. You know, you guys know about this. Is just a short little rundown. You know these shows. Let's get into ranking them because that's what I want to do today. So, you know, if we're gonna rank them, I have a few different categories, but you know, I want you guys to let me know what do you think the best one is. In either of these guys, I mean, I can't rank them because they're all different, and I love them all individually. But you know, I could rank them in certain things. But first, I want to go with the opening because this one was. I mean, they all have bangers. I mean, you know, Comey and My Dress Up Darling were pretty close neck to neck, you know, because both of their songs are a banger, like Sun Sundays, and then this one's just a Comey's is just so laid back and chill, and just the animation's insane. But ultimately, I'm gonna go with um I'm gonna go with My Dress Up because My Dress Up is just that opening gets me so hyped. I don't know why. It's a good song. It's really good. And then we're gonna give it to Comey because that's also a really good one as well. It was really hard to compare. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. They both have banger openings, honestly. And then I'm gonna give it to Nagatoro, and then Uzuki because Nagatoro's they're kind of like weird and like, you know, they're catchy and weird at the same time, and Uzuki's are just completely, I don't remember them at all, you know. So yeah, that's it for the openings. My Dress Up's a banger though. Comey's a banger. All of them. And then I want to go over their strength. And I know that's kind of weird, like why am I power scaling waifus and shit, but it's kind of more interesting than you think. So the strongest one I will say out of these four is Nagatoro because she's a part of the judo team, and you know she's got some type of feats to her. And then Comey because we've seen in the sports festival she's very athletic, and she does just pulls out crazy feats out of nowhere. And she, you know, she's also extremely fast. And then I'm gonna give it to Marin. Not that she has any feats or anything like that, but I just don't think. I mean, Uzuki has a few huge problems that kind of slow her down. But anyway, let's get into probably the more interesting power scale. The boys, our main characters, our goats. Let's get into it. So the first one I have to say, the one that's the strongest, is our boy Sakurai. He's probably the least popular, honestly, because My Dress Up's insanely popular. Comey is just really good. And then the Senpai whole thing went viral on TikTok. But Sakurai's pretty strong. He's got his whole judo lineage and stuff. And he actually trains at Uzuki's father's gym. So we've seen him training. He's got a few different things he can do. He's insanely good at fighting, judo wise. Then I'm gonna give it to our boy Naoto because he beat a buff judo dude in his first week of judo. Like he trained for like 1 week and then beat a buff ass dude from just technique alone. So he's got insane potential, you know? And then I'm gonna give it to Tadano because we all know the classic moment when he gets that power up during the sports festival, and that honestly makes me want to put him at 1 just because it was insane. But it was kind of just a gag. So I'll give him, if that's true, I'll give him B. That's fine, you know? And then, unfortunately, the weakest would have to go Gojo. Sorry, Jujutsu Kaisen fans, this is not your Gojo. This is Gojo Wakana. Obviously, Gojo Satoru would be at the top. But, yeah, so that's just strength. That was just something to do for fun because, you know, you don't really power scale these types of anime, but if you wanted to, there you go. Now I want to rank the side characters. Not like every single side character, but majority and what show has the best side characters. So, surprisingly, I'm going to give it to Uzuki. Just because there's that one guy at the cafe. He's really funny, the old guy with the glasses. And then the one friend. But the characters that really shine for me is Uzuki's family. They're just, that whole last season was so entertaining and interesting because of her family and Sakurai's family too. They weren't even in it that long, but seeing Sakurai confront his family, having a new baby sister, and then fighting his dad in the judo, insane. And then every one of Uzuki's family members are just really lovable and fun. And then I'm going to give it to Nagatoro because the only real side characters are just her friends and the art club members, the one president of the art club with the big giant, you know, yeah, balloons. And then we got her sister that we just got introduced to, and also Naoto's mom. But kind of mid, like, just in general, when you group it all together, there's not that many characters. But, you know, her friends are pretty vital to the story. Like, they're in a lot of the episodes, and, you know, they contribute a lot to the story. Then I'm going to have to give it to Komi, and I know you are all saying, wait a minute, Komi should be winning this. But of course, there's a lot of characters in Komi because the whole point of the show is for her to make 100 friends. But some of them are so insanely weird that it makes the show unwatchable. And I'm going to just say right now, Yamai, the weird, I mean, and listen, I'm not being sexist right now, but insanity, bro. Like, they tried to make a female perverted, and it's Sanji's not touching her. You know what I mean? Jiraiya, Master Roshi, none of them. It's uncomfortable and just cringy and weird, you know? It doesn't work. The whole Najimi situation, too, I'm not hating on whatever they are. Najimi's a cool character and branches Tadano and Komi and a bunch of the friends together, so they're vital to the story, but it's just weird, it just feels forced, you know, that they needed to have these types of characters in the show. But another two characters that are, you know, S tier though, Katai, who's kind of like Komi, but he's like a delinquent and best friends with Tadano, insane. And then Naruse, the freaking narcissist, he's cool, bro. I mean, Komi has some bangers, but, you know, Yamai really ruins it, where you only want to focus on Komi. And then her brother's a goat, too. Komi's brother's a badass. And then we're going to give it to My Dress Up, just because there's really no other characters. Her friends are insanely mid, Marin's friends. And then the only two characters are the two cosplayers, and they were in like 1 or 2 episodes. And they're not touching any of the characters that were in any of the other shows. So that's my thoughts. I mean, if you want to say Komi wins, go ahead. But Uzuki's family really just made that whole last season. It was fire. Now I think I'm just going to go into a few of my favorite moments. That was just a quick little fun ranking. but I'm gonna go into my favorite moments now. For my dress up darling, Gojo's whole backstory was just like, it hit for me, honestly. It was really fun to see this character and develop his just develop this character, like to see his whole thought process, that he liked making Hina dolls, and then this random girl who's probably going to come back in the manga, even though the manga's ending. Most of these are ending, honestly. I think most of them ended. Uzuki and Nagatoro ended, and then Komi and Marin are about to end. So, it was a good run, but these are the big four. They're going to be getting animes too, so they're still relevant. But, yeah, Gojo's whole thing with the backstory, really good. It was really well animated too, and it was very emotional, and it made us, feel for Gojo. And then if you're watching My Dress Up Darling, there's really interesting scenes with our boy, and when he's doing some kind of measurements. I mean, if you know, you know. But for Komi, I mean, honestly, I liked a lot of parts to Komi. Tadano's transformation was funny as hell. That shit, it was funny. And then the whole episode with Komi's brother was really fun too, because he's just such a badass. I mean, Komi's really funny. Like, there's a lot of funny moments to it, rather than cringe. I mean, except for Yamai. But yeah. And then for Uzuki, I mean, I was really nervous going into that last season for season 2, because season 1, they left it on, like, I watched a whole season of nothing. Like, they were supposed to, like, something was supposed to happen, and then nothing happened, so I was really disappointed. But then this season really just brought my interest right back, because her whole family is so interesting. You know what I mean? Like, the best part, I will say, my favorite part of that whole show was Sakurai and his father fighting, because it feels so much realer when these shows have fight scenes. Like, for example, with Toradora, when Taiga fought that one girl with I can't remember her name, but you know what I'm talking about, for our boy with the glasses. That was such a good fight. Like, there was so much emotion to it, because it wasn't a show about fighting, but it was well animated, and the emotion on Taiga's face and the other girl's face, I think it was like the class president or something like that. Just so much emotion. It was so good. And this is father and son fighting, and they're having this, like, it wasn't that serious, but it was just like to introduce Sakurai's father, and it was just really good, and it was well animated, honestly, too, for just a romance anime. And then there were a few funny moments, like with the scene in the pool when Sakurai's in the pool and Uzuki's brother's there, and like he's just thinking he's about to get flashed. It was really funny, because it's like, bro, why are you even thinking that? You know what I mean? Just swim. And then the whole plot twist where we got introduced to Uzuki's father just training Sakurai and not knowing that Sakurai knew Uzuki at all. And then she invites him over for dinner, and the father, like, goes into a rage. It was funny, because we knew this was going to happen, but it worked out great, and it was really fun, For Nagatoro, I mean, there's not too many crazy parts. Honestly, my favorite part there was one episode in particular. It was the episode where Naoto's sick, and I actually read this, like, a one chapter. I think it was on TikTok or something. But it was like a flashback, or a flash forward, to where Nagatoro's, like, older and taking care of Naoto in, like, a suit, and it just I don't know, it was fire to me. It made so much sense, and I just thought that could have been the end, honestly, of the whole show. That's the future. We don't need to go through this awkward dating thing. Just be that, because she showed up anyway and was doing that. Not even as an adult, she was doing that already. But and then every time one of these characters stands up for one of the girls, they're all badasses. Like when Naoto stood up to those kids who were trying to hit on Nagatoro, our boy's a goat. I mean, he's embarrassing. He's very nervous and stuff like that. But he really he tries his hardest and he can do it, you know. But yeah, that was the video. I mean, if it's trash, I mean, I shouldn't even really say that, but it's just a nice little conversation about these shows, which I do consider the big four. Let me know how you guys are feeling about that. This is the big four of romance anime. I mean, Toradora would probably be the Goku of, you know, Luffy, Ichigo, and Naruto and stuff like that. The big four, and then Toradora on top of that. If you agree with that, if you guys agree with that, I know there's other romance bangers out there, but anyways, guys, comment down below what do you guys think about my ranking. What do you guys think about everything I'm saying? I really would love to have a conversation with you in the comments about these characters because I love all these stories. I love these shows. Anyways, guys, it's been SJ Benj. Peace.